If you want to see a step-by-step of how I made this backdrop, make sure to stay tuned. Now, I want to preface this by saying getting this design cut out is the most difficult part of this project. I will link down below where I got the design, and you'll have to find someone in your area or a company that has access to a CNC or a laser cutting machine that can actually make this design. My backdrop was made by a friend who has access to a laser cutout and made it out of 1/4 inch fiberboard. Now, to begin, I actually cheaped out a little bit here on the backer board because a sanded sheet of 3/4 inch plywood in my area was between $50 and $60. So I went ahead and bought a 1/2 inch sheathing plywood because I think it was something like $20 a sheet. It does save a little bit on weight, but I had to use some wood filler and do a little bit of sanding to make it look as nice or as close to as nice as the more expensive plywood. So here I started off by laying my design on a sheet of plywood and tracing the outline for the backer board. For the curved edges, I had to kind of eyeball it, and all I did was mark with a pencil the peak of each little curve, and then afterwards sketched it all together. And just to let you know, I'm not using a whole lot of fancy tools here. I think for the whole build, all I used was a circular saw, jigsaw, and a straight edge. Here I'm using a level, but you can use anything you have, and some type of drill or impact driver, whatever you have. And again, they're not fancy tools. I think my jigsaw was a hyper tough version from Walmart. When you're doing your cutouts, make sure you put something underneath. You don't want to hit that floor or whatever's underneath it. You don't want to damage it. Next, you'll get out your jigsaw, and you can either do this on the floor, but I found it easier to put it on some sawhorses to cut out that top arch. And I am pretty happy with how this came out. Next step is I cut out the legs, and I probably could have made these a little nicer, but I didn't want to do any, measurements, any complicated cuts. I wanted to keep this dead simple. So I just made these big triangles and made them exactly the same. And on the bottom portion, I cut a little bit of an angle to them so the wall can lean back and have a little bit more stability. Next, attach your hinges, and if you cheaped out like I did and used 1/2 inch plywood, you might have the screws poke out a little bit out the front, and you have to find a way to take those off. I think I used a grinder, and I just shaved the head off on that front side that's going to be showing. And I didn't show it on camera, but I did fill in some of the big knots and imperfection that this wood had, and then sanded the entire thing to give it a smooth finish. Here's my wife. She's helping me out paint the inside corners of the fiberboard, and it is time for painting. Here you can do whatever color you want. We went with 2 coats of eggshell navy blue paint. We also did 2 coats of the white all over the front of the fiberboard. Once all of this is dry, you're ready for the next step. I lined up all 4 pieces of the fiberboard onto the backer, and I used 5/8 18 gauge brad nails to secure this down. And once you're done with that, that is the last step you have to do. This wall is ready for an event, a party, whatever you want, whatever color scheme you want. Now, why did I make this as opposed to buying this? So me and my wife, we looked around and there wasn't a whole lot of options in our area. I think to get one actually made and shipped to us, it would have been anywhere from $400 to $800. So this is the final product. So all in with the plywood, the paint, hinges, and the fiberboard that our friend made for 2 walls. It's this wall and a plain white one that's going right next to it. It came in at right around $200. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to like it. And if you have any questions about the project, I will do my best to answer any questions down in the comments below. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.